And we begin this morning in Mitchell County. One person shot overnight, and we believe law enforcement was on the scene when it happened. Right now, GBI agents trying to piece it together. WALB News 10 Zach. Yeah, at least one mobile home was destroyed in the Dickey community, tossed into the highway. Amazingly, 2 people inside somehow survived. Now, we pick up our team coverage in Dickey this morning. That's outside. Updating breaking news this morning. We now know the name of a man found shot to death overnight at an Albany business. The victim was found at a tax office on Palmyra Road. WALB News 10's Caitlin Chastain is live at the Lamar Parr Center, where an active taking you live this morning to Orlando, Florida, the scene of the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. 50 people killed, 53 others wounded, and more than 24 hours after that shooting that left so many people dead, still very much an active investigation there this morning, and they say that the death toll will likely climb in this tragic shooting. Investigators, though, still overnight, we were live on the air tracking tornado warnings that popped up from Decatur to Coffee County. One area where a possible tornado touched down is Grady County. WALB News 10's Wright Gasway has been out in Storm Tracker 10. He picks up our team coverage this morning near Wiggum, where a lot of trees came down, right? Residents of Ben Hill County glad to know a suspected killer back off the streets this morning, a day after a jailbreak. Ernest Holcomb captured last night in Ocilla. Holcomb, of course, accused in the murder of a Fitzgerald lottery winner. WALB News 10's Desiree Duncan live.
Yeah, when you look at this, just what is scattered here amongst this debris field is what it is. Just personal belongings lying everywhere. Trees are down. Speaking of that mobile home, as you can see, that's part of the foundation as well. Just this huge piece of twisted metal. Crews are out here on the Dickey bypass. Part of the road is closed due to debris in the roadway. A number of trees are down here throughout Calhoun County. Power's still out to some homes, and crews working to restore it. It's going to take these guys a while to get all of this.
Time now 6:40. Now to a story we first broke in a mobile alert this morning. One person is dead after a police chase ends in a crash in Coffee County. It happened late last night.
We don't know if this was a drive-by shooting or if someone actually came up and shot this young man, but I can tell you there was a barrage of gunfire. Check out this Chevy Tahoe there in the parking lot. It's surrounded by crime scene tape. There are actually bullet holes in that car and a number of evidence markers there on the ground. Now, we're going to go to some of this video. Again, we have not been able to talk with GBI agents. They've been very much wrapped up in this investigation since this shooting happened, again, just about 4 hours ago here outside.
Final check of our snowfall here at the studio.
Yeah, the snow started falling around 3 o'clock this morning. It's historic for this area because it's the first snowfall that we've had since 2010. It came down for a good solid hour, and you can already see where it is piled up here on the car. Now, I know you love snow. Of course, we don't want it to be dangerous, as we understand those icy situations are on the road. But here's a little bit of snow for you. I'll bring it back to the desk when I head in there in just a few minutes.
Once again from Panama City with the latest.
Yeah, and good morning to you, Carla. Tropical storm watch in effect here for Bay County and much of the Panhandle. You wouldn't know it, though, by looking at that. You get a good look at the Gulf here as the sun rises over Panama City. Very nice conditions out there. The water not too choppy at all. Yellow flags are flying here, but it's on further down in the Gulf, hundreds of miles away, where Tropical Storm Isaac is churning.
And a good Friday morning to you. Happy Memorial Day. Of course, it is graduation season. Most people have already thrown up the tassel, but a time of pomp and circumstance, that is until you fall. Here's a look at some not so gracious graduation moments. Look at this young man. He's getting cocky there. Gets his diploma, and then whoa! Oh! City, Arkansas were fired after this video surfaced. You can see one of the women dipping her hair in a pot of hot water while the other wraps it in a towel. All this happened in the kitchen, much to the disgust of patrons. The health department, as you can imagine, they were called in to investigate.
Is that the same pot the grits are in?
I don't know. They got good grits there, good waffles. Hey, it's not going to turn me off to it. Just don't eat at that Waffle House. There's lots of them. Well, so you've probably seen the video of the thief.
Carl, still a lot of cleanup underway here in Calhoun County. The scary thing about this storm was that it came in the middle of the night while a lot of people were sleeping. And to give you an idea of just how powerful this possible tornado was, take a look behind me. This is the foundation where a mobile home once stood. When that storm came through, those winds so powerful, it lifted that mobile home up into the air. And as you can see, it dropped it right here on the Dickey bypass like a bomb. There is debris scattered everywhere. Amazingly, a mother and her daughter were sleeping inside that mobile home at the time. They were trapped under the rubble, and somehow they managed to escape with their lives.
It came in the middle of the night. Possible tornado. This pile of debris, once a mobile home. Mother and daughter inside when it went airborne.
One of my deputies arrived first, Jeremy Deal. He got here first, and he had found them out there. And I think I don't know if they was hollering or talking to him. He found them on this side of the road, which the trailer was on this side of the road, and I reckon it blowed him over here with all the damage.
Carter Wilkerson suffered a broken hip and arm. Her daughter, Danielle, broken ribs.
I understand they're banged up, but they're going to be okay. But look at the damages, it could be a lot worse.
The storm came through just before 3 a.m. The wind so powerful, trees were splintered, metal was twisted. Just up the road in Edison, 2 mobile homes destroyed. One man inside suffered only minor injuries.
A mess. I'm not used to seeing something like this. It's something you see in pictures.
Pictures that tell a story of a storm that amazingly claimed no lives.
Yeah, when you look at this, just what is scattered here amongst this debris field is what it is. Just personal belongings lying everywhere. Trees are down. Speaking of that mobile home, as you can see, that's part of the foundation as well. Just this huge piece of twisted metal. Crews are out here on the Dickey Bypass. Part of the road is closed due to debris in the roadway. A number of trees are down here throughout Calhoun County. Power is still out to some homes, and crews working to restore it. It's going to take these guys a while to get all of this mess cleaned up. But amazingly, when you see all of this debris out here, the damage that was done, the fact that there were no fatalities is simply amazing. And of course, we're going to have more on this possible tornado that touched down in Calhoun County coming up on WALB News 10 at 5 and 6. The National Weather Service, I should tell you, will also have a survey team out here sometime today to confirm if it was in fact a tornado that touched down here. Carla?
Thanks so much. And of course, we'll have updates as well at
Under the lights of Friday night, where hometown heroes are made, it's a battle of strength and skill, where even the underdogs can prevail.
Since I was little, that was the main goal. So I'm varsity as a freshman.
Yeah, and you did that.
Yes, sir.
17-year-old Malik Sparkman defied the odds in 9th grade, starting for the Class 5A Coffee Trojans and middle linebacker. He would make an impact his sophomore year, again terrorizing some of the best offenses in the state. But his biggest opponent would be one he would face off the field.
I went to the doctor about that. I ain't know what was wrong, so kept going to the doctors and then kept losing weight.
Last March, Malik was diagnosed with a rare form of kidney cancer. Life, as he knew it, had changed.
What's the first thing you thought?
It couldn't happen to me, like really me, but I've been dealing with it, been staying strong through it all.
Strong is a word that embodies Malik Sparkman. Instead of joining his teammates on the field for his junior year, he spends at least 2 days a week in Atlanta receiving cancer treatments. But his strength keeps him going, and the thought of someday walking through that tunnel again.
Not seeing one fan yelling, get you pumped. No, it's just unexplainable. Every game I was watching him play, every practice, it kills me to be out there. I really do.
But Malik is out there. His presence felt in every snap, in every tackle.
Our game against Brunswick at that time was a big game for us, and that was his first game, and he was our captain. And I really think more than just our kids, it kind of lit up our whole stadium and our whole community.
A community that's come together for this young man and his family. Recently, members of the Coffee County community organized a dream date for Malik and his girlfriend that included a candlelight dinner on the 50-yard line, followed by a horse and carriage ride. It was on the same field where the Coffee Trojans would win their first home playoff game since 1982. The game Malik was there to see from the sidelines. He was anything but a spectator.
You know, his presence has been felt, and the kids, you know, they all are wanting to play well and do well for him. And
What has football taught you about cancer?
That you gotta fight, gotta fight, and keep stay focused, and don't give up.
And it's also a lesson in what cancer has taught him about football. Against all odds, losing is not an option.
It's all I've been through, and it's like make me hungry for it, hungry to win and get a state championship. I'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Never giving up hope in the face of even the toughest opponent. In Coffee County, Kate Fowler, WALB Sports. We are talking gator tails this morning, not the actual tail of the gator, but the story of landing these beasts. Take a look at some of the huge alligators taken this year, some of those right here in South Georgia. The 2015 gator hunting season wraps up next week, and many of those lucky enough to draw a tag set out on South Georgia waters in search of the next record gator. I recently went out on a gator hunt on Lake Seminole, where I learned these reptiles are not an easy catch, as these hunters have adapted to being the hunted. It's daybreak on Lake Seminole, and rising with the sun, some South Georgia gators. We tagged along with Dave Lesnock with Coweta County Gator Getters. He's trolled these waters for 12 years in search of massive swamp monsters. He's guiding Brad Patton on his first ever gator hunt. Do you have a goal? Big gator? Any gator? What?
You know, 8 or better, I guess.
It wasn't long before his goal appeared in sight, casting out a large snatch hook, a few tugs, and gator on. Fight, though, far from easy.
He's under something.
Minutes later, the gator's back up again and hooked a second time. But he manages to escape under some brush and lives to see another day. Some of his friends, not so lucky. Already this year, 2 12-foot-plus gators were taken in Lake Seminole. And remember this guy, the state record 13-foot, 10-inch gator? He, too, once called these waters home.
But reeling in a monster gator is not always that easy, because oftentimes the bigger the gator, the wiser.
They're a million-year-old animal, so they adapted to the hunting situation.
And the popularity of the sport has grown. This year, Georgia issued more tags and lengthened the season. But as we witnessed, a gator is hard to outwit.
The first year we hunted, they were, you could get right up on them. And now you're lucky to get 20, 30 yards from them. The success rate, I think, in statewide is like 29%.
Still on the lookout, Dave spots an elusive 13-footer he calls Bosco. But the wise old gator was on to us.
They are definitely, they're not a dime a dozen.
By morning's end, we saw many a gator, but Brad came up empty-handed.
So, disappointed?
No, not at all. It ain't over yet, Still got a few days left to keep trying.
Still hopeful that he'll land that prize trophy gator. So many go after, but few ever get. How about Bosco?
I'm just proud of you. And you're here.
I'm still
in
here.
one piece.
You know, the day before, if I'd gone on that hunt, a lady got a 10-foot gator. But, I must have been the bad luck charm. But either way, it's a lot of fun. I think 11,000 people apply to go on these, to get the tags to go on these gator hunts. Only a handful are selected. So when you go out there, certainly not that easy. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
And we're glad you're back in one piece.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, there's a lady, she's enjoying being very, very rich this morning.
News 10's Cade Fowler witnessed that execution. He joins us live this morning outside the Georgia Diagnostic Prison in Jackson with more on Johnson's final moments and the crime that led to his execution.
Yeah, Carla, it was around 9:15 last night when the U.S. Supreme Court denied Ray Johnson's final appeal. 30 minutes later, I was in a small room surrounded by members of the Sizemore family, attorneys on both sides, and other members of the press. Before us, behind a window, was Ray Johnson. He was strapped to a gurney. He had an IV in his arm. He refused any final words. He refused a final prayer. That was at 9:44 p.m. 27 minutes later, he was dead, killed by lethal injection. Here's a look back at the crime that led to his execution.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
It's been 17 years since that guilty verdict sealed Ray Johnson's fate. Sentenced to death for the brutal rape and murder of Angela Sizemore. Her body found the morning of March 24th, 1994 in the front floorboard of a Chevy Suburban. Sizemore, the 34-year-old mother of one, had been stabbed 41 times and brutally raped. She and Johnson were seen the night before drinking at a West Albany bar. Johnson told investigators he and Sizemore walked to a grassy area off 16th Avenue where they had sex. He said afterward he punched Sizemore in the face because she wanted to cuddle. It was here where investigators say she was murdered, less than a block from where Johnson lived with his mother. That same morning, 3 witnesses reported seeing Johnson board a city bus not far from where Sizemore's body was found. He was arrested that same day, shortly before he planned to board a bus to Tennessee. When confronted by officers, he said, quote, "I'm Marcus Ray Johnson. I'm the man you're looking for. As Johnson awaited trial, he escaped from the Miller County Jail after striking a deputy in the head with a gun. The deputy died months later from a stroke, but the attack wasn't tied to his death. In 1998, Johnson went on trial. Defense attorneys argued the evidence against him was circumstantial.
If it fails to prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, it would be your duty to acquit the defendant.
Prosecutors argued no one other than Ray Johnson could have committed the crimes.
Make them explain why Marcus Ray Johnson had a blackout and memory loss on this day,
And a jury agreed. For the next decade and a half, Johnson and his attorneys would appeal the conviction, calling for additional DNA testing. A stay was granted just a day before his scheduled execution in 2011. 4 years later, those appeals failed, bringing once and for all an end to the life of a man behind one of Albany's most heinous crimes.
We, the jury, find the defendant.
Now, Johnson refused his final meal, and he spent his final hours with 5 family members, 1 friend, and his attorney. Now, among the witnesses last night to his execution was Katie Barker. She is the daughter of Angela Sizemore. Clearly a very emotional night for her. We're going to have more on that, as well as the final moments of Ray Johnson's life coming up in the next half hour. For now, I'm live in Jackson. Carla, back to you.
Thanks so much.